The Battle of Gettysburg was fought during the first 3 days of July, 1863, and was the decisive struggle of the Great Civil War. The Union Army under General Meade numbered 100,000, and he estimated that of General Lee at 80,000 men. The world's history contains no story of more exalted heroism than that which marked the grapple of those mighty hosts, when the ground shook under the thunder of 225 cannon, and thousands gave up their lives for the cause which they believed to be just. On November 19, 1863, some 4 months after the battle, the Gettysburg National Cemetery was dedicated. The address of Edward Everett occupied an hour, and was delivered with the skill and polish which stamped him as the greatest of then living American orators. At its close, when the applause had subsided, the tall, gaunt form of President Lincoln rose and came slowly forward. He held in his hands 1 or 2 loose sheets of paper, upon which he had penciled a few thoughts while on the train coming from Washington. Amid the hush of the large assemblage, without displaying any of the graces of the finished orator, and in the space of barely 5 minutes, he summed up with masterly eloquence the true philosophy of the stupendous struggle. What he said will remain a classic through the coming ages. Listen to his immortal words. 70 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation, or any nation so conceived and so dedicated, can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of it as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives, that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they here gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.